Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream, everybody. I managed to get my camera working again, so we are fully online for this go. Uh, as it's the 4th of July, so happy Independence Day. I'll be drinking my Kentucky bourbon here. And tonight, we're going to be conquering Iceland, and then probably Denmark. Been reviewing my situation. My sister is a problem. The Duchess of Dehoybarth is also a problem. And we've got a Liberty faction. And to top it all off, our guy is pretty fucking old. And my heir is a gout-ridden drunkard in charge of Ireland. So, let's go. Starting with Iceland. And so my goal for this run is to unite the British Isles, oh yeah, the British Isles, Norway, Iceland, and Denmark under one rule. Sort of recreating the North Sea Empire, but in reverse. The historical North Sea Empire was a Dane on the throne of England and Norway. So we're doing the opposite. I think I put him in charge of something. Yep, I made him the Duke of Deira. So he controls basically the entire eastern coastline of England. And we are so rich, we shouldn't need to send any of our own men to actually fight in Iceland. Should be able to entirely rely on mercenaries. That's all because London is so cartoonishly powerful as counties go. And once I break into Scandinavia, Copenhagen and Oslo are going to become my bases of operation there. And with those two under my control, I should be making even more absurd amounts of money. You do your thing, you Aefrith. And I need to give away the islands in the North Sea. I would if that was matrilineal. Have I got any extra kids? Well, my sibling here sucks, and they're all girls, but one of them has a claim on my throne, and she wants it. She wants it bad. No. If I got any Saxons, I can give it to. She is my Joan of Arc sort of character. I've got a bunch of people in my prison. See, when your realm gets real big in this game, you attract weirdos from all over Europe. So, because this map is already fucking cursed, let's give Orkney and Shetland to a Scotsman. Or to a Polish person. And then we'll transfer him under the control of the King of Scotland. For whatever reason an Austrian came here. God only knows why. This is still one of the most cursed maps of Europe I have ever seen. This is just disgusting. So let's just focus on the British Isles, where I have achieved pretty borders. Granted, border gore is kind of the norm in Crusader Kings. You're not really gonna get pretty borders in this game. Yeah, I shouldn't need anything more than a group of mercenaries to get a foothold in Iceland. Don't need to send all 15,000 men under my command to go take the island. Let's focus on hoardings. And we're in the high medieval now. So we've got whole of body, we've got scholar. Let's go for theologian, see if we can... We are 70 years old, we're infirm, but we're still hanging on. Hopefully this king can see a foothold in Iceland gained before he dies. I didn't think I would do real well with him. My prince is fine. He's just a drunk with gout, so I don't know how long he's gonna last. And then my grandson is actually pretty solid. He's a robust, intelligent warlord, basically. So I think the next two ought to be pretty good, all things considered. Like, he's got high stats, but I think it'll be short-lived. Because, again, he's a drunkard with gout. That's one of those problems that you get when your king lasts a long time. Your successor characters can pick up a lot of really shitty traits. And we can ransom some people. That'll be good. Just get a little bit of extra money. We have officially reached that point in a Paradox game where we have more money than we know what to do with. Because all I can really spend this on is mercenaries at this point, because I've fully maxed out all of my personal holdings. We've got all three. We are illustrious, and we are a devoted servant. And we're fucking loaded. There it is. Or no, I thought that was me. There we go. Come on, Bishop. Do your thing. There we go. Oh yeah, finally got my camera working again. I don't know what was the deal last week. Or, yeah, sorry, Friday. So yeah, we don't even need to send... I mean, that's not a bad interpretation. There have been exceptions in terms of, like, people conquering the world based on ideology and the like. But having all three of those on your side does not hurt your cause. And you know what, just for good measure, let's send some additional mercenaries to help them out. And it looks like somebody's rebelling against the Duchess of Wicca, which is helpful to me, because she is a problem. She's powerful, and she wants my throne. Is there really only... Okay, there's the holding. Well, Iceland is a sparsely populated island at this point in history. It had only just recently received human inhabitants. Iceland is one of those places that had no human inhabitants before the Vikings arrived. Wait, did he send somebody down here? Oh, there he is. Yeah, there's Iceland. Oh, this won't take long. Yeah, we're just picking up some of the last tech levels. Oh yeah, definitely. Happy 4th of July. I already showed this, but I am drinking James E. Pepper 1776 bourbon. It is my personal favorite. Yep, it is Independence Day in the United States. Although it's we don't mark it with the end of the war. We mark it with the day we signed the Declaration of Independence and officially broke away from England. Because the war lasted for years, and I honestly can't think of what day it actually ended. What's Argentina's Independence Day? No, no. Yeah, no. That's just TikTok being stupid. The Declaration of Independence was signed. Also, what's going on? All right, so we jump right to my grandson. That's pretty good. But yeah, that's just a case of TikTok being stupid. Um, Also, that is cool. It's funny how they're so close to one another. Canada also has their independence. Or I don't know if it's like Canada Day, but they never really declared independence. But it's on July 1st. So it's funny just how all of them happen in the summer. But yeah, so the Declaration of Independence was signed July 4th, 1776. So yeah, I hate TikTok passionately. All right, there's our giant, our disfigured giant. This is taking a real long time to siege down. There we go. All right, we have a foothold. Now we need a new marshal because our son died. Why don't we make it our new heir? It is weird how there's so many of them, but it'd be interesting if you could prove that true. That like for whatever reason, July inspires a revolutionary attitude in people. Hmm. Let's put it on display. We got a gift from the king of Lotharingia, which is remarkably still around. Yeah, could just be a coincidence. Then again, maybe the hot weather just makes people agitated. So yeah, Lotharingia is a weird one. Historically, they didn't last all that long, and really they didn't have much. That'd be fun if only it would be that fun. Um, but yeah, so Lotharingia was the sort of option C of the Frankish kingdoms, and as you can see, it didn't really have a great position historically. Smushed between Germany and France is never a good place to be. Um, so they didn't last long, but they had a pretty decent run historically for how awful their position was. But into the 12th century, nah. Wait, what happened? Oh wow. I guess the Adamite heresy is going strong somewhere. Oh yeah, yeah, there it is. It's in Spain. Bunch of naked Spaniards running around. Yeah, Spain in this one went real sideways. For a little while, Castile was doing great, and then it just kind of fell to pieces. And now we've got, is that a, no, Andalusia is not Christian, but I thought it might be. Um, we have a duchy. Oh, so it must be the Aragonese that started it. That is a nudist dynasty in Aragon. Yeah, this is a cursed world state. Well, I think we all knew this playthrough was just going to get weirder as we progressed further into the future. I know I've been really pleased to watch that go, and let's burn a witch. That'll be fun. Get some extra piety. I like to think what I offer is some relatively unique content. Alright, I want to die so I can have this nice young king. Yeah, I definitely think the titles helped big time. Thank you for that suggestion. We keep getting all these random people showing up in court. There we go. I'll take that claim, thank you. Is it really worth getting another one? Because I'm probably going to die before I can get a third county up here, especially if I wait for this truce to be up. I'll have it just in case. Yeah, how is that giant doing? Look how tiny his wife is next to him. He's a 61-year-old giant. They usually don't last that long. And this King of Scotland is just having a rough go of things. This is like his second or third civil war. But at least it's nothing I have to deal with. I am ancient, and I just want... Oh, well, now he's improvident. That's great. I would if it wouldn't make him super powerful, because that would just give him... Because he's already one of my most powerful vassals. And he just got more powerful. He basically controls all of northern England. He has been very loyal, but I don't want him getting any ideas. I am a 77-year-old man. I don't need to go picking fights with giants. Yeah, we don't get any of these special cultural and regional because we're Anglo-Saxon, and I think they put one in for English, but not Anglo-Saxon. That Byzantium is thick. And it looks... Oh, alright. We're gonna be dead soon. Wow, what happened here? The Sami are really fucking going at it. That came out of nowhere. 1453, I believe, is the official end date. So we've got about another 300 years. Well, I think we have to go with the historian. Emperor Balthier the Historian of Britannia. You beautiful bastard. And you're going to be leaving the kingdom in some pretty capable hands. My grandson looks pretty solid. Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen people do world conquests. Kind of immersion breaking, to be honest, because in this day and age, with the political structures present in the medieval era, a world conquest would have been impossible. The Mongols got the closest in the era, but even their empire was pretty disjointed, all things considered. And it didn't last all that long in the grand scheme of things. For as much as the Mongols shook up world history, they didn't last long. Really, they were at their height for only about 100 years. Well, we're no longer known as the historian, apparently. Come on, there we go. Right when I was asking, when am I going to die? Alright, so what have we got to work out here? We need to give away the Kingdom of Ireland to somebody. That is something. I mean, you can do that if you if you're really good at the whole marriage game. All right, my 11-year-old barren brother. Can I give it to you? I cannot. He's in Shetland for some reason. All right, you. All right, Earl of Dublin. You are now the King of Ireland underneath me. And I'm going to transfer some vassals to you. Alright, that should keep them happy. Keep revolts to a minimum. I'm Marshal, so this is like the good one, a good one to conquer with. Oh shit. Why? Alright. We've got 2 claimants. Seems a lot of their dissatisfaction is from the Crown Authority, so let's lower that. Too many held duchies. Oh, I need to give away Connect. Let's give you Connect. There we go. That should help. Alright, that disarmed one of the factions. Need to disarm the second. Can probably sway her. Should also get my council together. That would probably help as well. Alright, the giant is now my steward. Alright, who's got good... Marshal. Alright, Duke of Northumbria. And, well, you hate me, so I'm not going to let you be anywhere near my spy master's position. There we go. That should solve the faction problem. At least for the most part. Alright, she's still got a claim. This is going to be a problem. I want her to die before she can press it. I should hire up some mercenaries. That should also help. There we go. Yeah, now who's boss? Who's got the mercenaries? Wow, he really hates me. Alright, let's sway him. I mean, there's 3 of them. My grandfather founded this one, so... Alright, we're going along with the military tree fairly quickly. Also, it looks like Ireland is in a state of civil war. Excellent, that'll weaken them. And the Scots are pretty stable. That would probably allow the Scots and the Irish to break out from under me. And I don't really want that. I'm gonna stick with Catholic for the time being. If the kingdom gets stronger in the future, I will probably do that, but I don't think I have enough control over England to successfully form my own church. Although, I shouldn't be too far away from building some extra castles. Or at least upgrading my castles. Wait, what kind of claims have I got here? Oh, I have earls with claims. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm not fighting wars with France on behalf of somebody else. What is this madness? Let's try sending him a gift. Did she die? Alright, I think she died. And that'll get the King of Scotland on my side. The Mercians have really lost their place as the main internal threat. It's mostly the Dukes of Wicca, who are actually stronger than the Kings of Scotland or Ireland right now. Well, apparently I think my wife is cheating on me. Well, let's have her followed. That has never backfired on anywhere. Nothing can distract me from the conquest of Iceland. We will form a mighty empire of the North Sea. See, the best part is, at this point in the game... oh, do I want to go on Crusade? We kind of got obliterated last time. Yeah, I'll fund it, but I'm not going on this fool's errand. Because the last Crusade just got fucking nuked. Yeah, the last Crusade did not go well, so I'm just going to ignore that. Oh, there's an independent count breaking away in Norway. That is a weird religious situation going on over there. That's the idea. So once I get my claim... Alright, we got a claim. So, gotta send you. There you go, kick the living shit out of this guy. While we go to war with Iceland. Oh yeah, definitely. I need a foothold there anyway, so... Who's his friend? Oh, you're nobody to worry about at all. And I'll extend both of their contracts. Alright, go take Iceland for me. This is any England playthrough in a nutshell. There's no problems that money can't fix. But I'm gonna need more bourbon to conquer Iceland. What's this? Okay, oh, the giant must have died. Duke of Powys, it's on you. Alright, it looks like the giant died. And his inbred son is now the Duke of Deira. Farewell to a legend. Oh, definitely. I'm putting a big statue of him outside of the Royal Palace in London. Alright, let's go conquer these Icelandics. And we can get another... Let's get Kingsguard. More knights is always nice. Let's see. What are his stats like? Oh, he is a shadow of who his father was. He is a lustful, arbitrary, shy inbred who only has one okay stat. Oh, that's rough. I need to pump out another child. She's okay. How old's my wife? I mean, apparently his father's and his aunt's, if he's that inbred. Alright, let's get Redwald to like me. Yeah, we're starting to get to the period in medieval history where sieges take even longer, because fortifications get a lot better as we progress into the High Medieval era. I mean, the Templars had some fortresses in the Holy Land that are still used as fortifications by the Israeli military because they're that good. That they haven't been rendered obsolete over the centuries. A lot of them are still standing too, like Crac de Chevalier. Because the Templars never had the manpower to actually hold the Holy Land just by sheer force of arms. So they relied very heavily on having well-designed forts that could make the most out of the fighting capability of a small number of very well-trained men. He is, but we should be able to fight him after we've taken this county. Also, I am starting to hear the fireworks, so if you hear those, I do apologize. They are to be expected on the 4th of July. Yeah, let's pay out the nose to help our horse. come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Just gotta get there. We're so close. Ah, damn it. Oh well. Keep fighting, my mercenaries. Still got 2 years left on your contract, so go die for me. Holy crap, he is putting up a fight. I might actually need to hire another group to go help them. Alright, go take the capital of Iceland. Yep, that is, as soon as this war is over, this county is on my list. And this one too, honestly. And that'll give me a pretty solid foothold in Norway. I hope so. Or actually, no, it shouldn't be, because I don't think the King of Norway is all that strong right now. Alright, come on. Get there, get there, get there, get there. The Icelandic mountains screwed me over. But yeah, no, the King of Norway is not particularly strong right now, so it should be fine. This war is just going to take a while, I think, because these fortifications are rather good. Oh, we have 2 sons. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. You know what? Let's go back to the beginning of this dynasty. The guy who started it all. And his son. So, Alfred is my new heir. I don't know. I think it's RNGesus. Let's raise my men-at-arms and send them to help as well. So yeah, I think that's just RNGesus. Whatever RNGesus decides you have. Alright, go kill them all. Come on. We gotta wrap up this conquest so we can move into Norway. We've got so many claimants to the throne. Alright, we need a decisive battle to wrap this up. Alright. Should be pretty easy now. Send you guys north, and they really don't have the men to challenge us now. Yep, I figured that's how that would go. Well, Hungary formed. We've still got Jewish Hungary. That's weird. Italy is disgusting. The Byzantines are doing really well, but they haven't actually hit any of the things they need. They would need to restore their old borders. Huh. Yeah, let's give her arbitrary. She's not the heir anymore, so it doesn't really matter all that much. But we should take Reykjavik before they take Suderland. There we go. Oh shit, did not want to do that. Nah, disband everything. There we go. Alright, we've got half of Iceland. Alright, Reykjavik is next. We need a new marshal. Oh, you are good. Oh, let's give it to you. Our Joan of Arc type character. Alright, and let's have that be our base of operations up in Iceland. And now we can go to war here. Actually, maybe I can make it a holy war. Nope, I can just... He must have converted. My men-at-arms should be enough for this, because I think he's only got about 100 or so men to his command. Alright, new Dynasty Legacy. Which one do we want to go down? Oh yeah, imagine if England had control of Iceland historically. They would have been in North America probably before the Spaniards got to South America. Hmm. Huh. I want to go for kin. Because that would just fit with this, like... Building construction will be good. I think I'll take law. Wait, no. Yeah, I'm gonna go with law, I think. Or irradiation? Those are all good. The development growth especially. Yeah, let's go with irradiation next. Oh, that was fast. Alright, there we go. We've got a foothold established in Norway, and we've got half of Iceland. And let's give away our lands in Iceland. Just for shits and giggles, let's give them to the Frenchmen. Or at least one of them. Founding a new faith is on the list for this game. I just don't think I'm quite ready for it yet. Okay, so we are doing pretty damn good on this run, I would say. This is probably my most successful CK3 run so far, between all of my streams and all of my personal games. Alright. And my internal borders don't look that disgusting either. Hey there, thank you for joining the stream. And happy 4th of July to you too. We have begun getting our foothold in Scandinavia and Iceland. Actually, I'm going to make this a rally point, because that'll make the rest of this conquest way easier. Alright, there we go. And we are rolling in money. That income is ridiculous. We can basically just have mercenaries do almost all of our fighting for us. How far are we from the castle upgrade? Alright, we're only 10 years away from being able to upgrade all our castles, too. North Sea Empire, here we come. Yeah, the Adamites are doing what they do. Oh, Aquitaine going into Spain there. And wait, are the Southern French are Orthodox? Go figure. Oh, this is a cursed game. Wait, are the Byzantines losing some territory here? Oh, they must have broken out. And we've got the Kingdom of the Caucasus, which is Armenian, even though Armenia's down here, thereabouts. They've somehow gotten up here. But at least it doesn't look like they've joined the mighty Jewish steppe. This is a cursed map of Europe. See, now with my rally point in Iceland, I ought to be able to just kill their army before they can really do much. Alright. I'm helping out the giant son this way. He's not particularly useful, but because his father was so impressive, I'm going to stick up for him when there's complaints against him. Oh, we need a new steward. Alright, that should make you not hate me. Let's make my daughter compassionate. I don't really want her being a pain in the ass for my heir. See, part of the reason this is taking so long is my chaplain sucks. Exactly, yeah, no, we'll just shield him from all the consequences of his actions. What could possibly go wrong? He's the inbred lunatic son of a giant, but... Alright, there it is. And let's send... God, my patriarch sucks. To take the other independent county here. Alright, my heir. What is going on with him? He's rowdy, that's good. Let's give him a direction. Well, stewardship won't hurt him, so let's focus on that. Because money is the most powerful way to play this game. Alright, as soon as that truce is up, I'm taking that last province. And actually, let me get a claim on this province here in Norway. And then I will focus on the remaining one in Iceland. And then I'll focus on the remaining independent county in Norway. Alright, and we've got a faction. Oh, thank God, they're just peasants. Let's check in on my men. Oh, we have Huscarls. And I'm going to upgrade the... Actually, I should probably replace these with mangonels if I can get them. Yep. Because mangonels are just a straight upgrade. There we go. Let's upgrade our archers as well. I'm also going to replace a heavy infantry group with armored horsemen and another heavy infantry group with pikemen. It's going to be expensive, but I think it'll be worth it to diversify my men-at-arms. Howdy, welcome to the stream. We are conquering the North Sea Empire, but the other way this time, with a Saxon on the throne as opposed to a Dane. And we're celebrating the 4th of July with a nice glass of Kentucky bourbon. The right way to do it. You don't need high grade explosives, although they do make it more fun. Nice. Alright, we got the Forder trait. That should help in Norway. This makes me happy because I was wanting a young king for a while. Yeah, I guess I've had dogs my whole life, and none of them were particularly fond of them, so we never lit them off. Every once in a while, I would go to, like, the local fireworks. But I always preferred the cookout as the ideal way to celebrate. Yeah, I'll give them a tax lien, which should make that faction go away. But now I need to send my marshal to go do his thing. Her thing, actually. Let's go with mythology. Yeah, let's go with King Arthur's horse. Alright, if my compassionate, forgiving daughter should not be a problem for either of her sons. You know, cookouts are like it's the one 4th of July cookout is the one day a year I will drink like Budweiser in the American flag cans. Because America, fuck yeah. If there ever was a day to be as tacky with your patriotism as possible, it's your country's Independence Day. So, on Bastille Day, you Frenchmen go wear that tricolore suit. If you're American on July 4th, go drink that Budweiser in the American flag can. Is it dumb? Yeah, but if you love your country, you're allowed to be a little stupid at least one day a year. Because it's fun. Alright. And we can claim the entire duchy. Alright, loser. Here we go. Raise them all. Why is it taking so long to raise them? Oh, this is going to go horribly for me, isn't it? The way I look at it is, no country's going to be perfect. Some are better than others, but no country's going to be perfect, so there aren't any countries I think I'd rather have been born in. I like this one. Has America got its problems? Sure. Just like any other country. But I like this place quite a lot. There's a comedian a few years ago who I was listening to who said that America is the best country, but it's not a great country. There are no great countries, but America is the least bad. At least that was his perspective on it. I would go as far to say that America is a good country, like as in the history of countries. And there my neighbors go, lighting them off. Because the thing you got to appreciate about the Bow of Berwick, where is that? Or Burr of Berwick. Don't think it's any of the ones I have direct control over. So yeah, you take that. But as the American system, that is the system devised in the Constitution, has refined itself, it's gotten better for more people. A lot of times when a political system refines itself, it gets crueler and more efficient at being evil. Just look at the Soviet Union or the Nazis. As they sort of refined themselves and perfected their ideologies, they just got more awful. Alright, Iceland is mine. Put one of my loyal vassals in charge up here. Let's put a Greek in Iceland, just for shits and giggles. The game is going really well. I will let you... I'm going to make a Greek the Duke of Iceland. There we go. Oh, that's great. So the game is going really well. My goal is to form the North Sea Empire, but with a Saxon on the throne as opposed to a Dane. So I've still got to conquer Denmark and Norway, and once that's done, I think I'll call this game wrapped up. I have turned England, or London, into probably the most powerful city in the world. Like, this is just the most absurdly rich county I've seen in the entire time I've played this game. Between these three baronies, I think this beats Constantinople in terms of gold per month. Well, you can't pay me, so I'm not gonna free you. I think this is a charity. Yeah, Christianity in this game is in an interesting spot. We've got Jewish Hungary, which is interesting. We've got the Muslims and the Adamites, a heretical offshoot of a nudist heretical offshoot of Christianity, duking it out in Spain, and the Orthodox are in Austria and Ukraine. Well, the Ukraine makes sense. We've also got Jewish Russia, which is weird. The Tengri are up here doing their thing, and the Muslims are... The Muslims make way more sense right now than Christianity. Alright, need to get a claim. Oh, this is a fun game. It's just, this is a hilariously cursed version of Europe. Like, the border gore is awful. The religious affiliations of different kingdoms are so weird. And I'm loving it. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll look after the kid. Who are my wards? I'll take care of him in a year. Oh boy. Yeah, no, the Sunset Invasion DLC was just peak CK2. Just, the border gore was something else. Something to behold. And internally, the border gore is not so bad. We've got a real thick Duchy of Deira, which is ruled by the inbred son of a giant. And we've got this weird little sliver of Scotland in Ireland. But it culturally, the Norse managed to convert the whole of Ireland before I defeated them. True. But usually the border gore after the Aztecs collapse from all the internal revolting is just disgusting. Alright, all my men-at-arms together are quite a lot. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, usually though, in most of the games I've played where the Aztec managed to invade, you see them just fall apart from so much wrong culture, wrong religion land they're in control of. Let's marry off my daughter and see if I can't get a strong alliance for her. You're not all that great. Oh, that's sad. Um, yeah, let's see if we can get an Adamite. Also, that is true. They usually have the most success in Europe. Okay. I think I just saw one. They have that weird blue cross. Alright, a Visigoth Adamite. Let's go. Marry the naked guy. Just for shits and giggles. And we can get some money from the Pope to further my conquest. We shall see. Let's become a nudist country. Oh, nudist England would be cold. Ugh. Shrinkage out the wazoo. I was in London in the dead of summer, and I still wore a hoodie some days. Yeah, Norway would be worse. That'd be horrible. But yeah, I found I needed to wear a hoodie some mornings in London and Dublin. I've been to both. Dublin is way friendlier on your wallet. London is one of the most absurdly expensive cities I have ever been to. Well, that's interesting. So the Vikings were successful, so you must have done the Viking Age start then. Yeah, usually the Vikings just get BTFO'd by the Saxons. Alright, there we go. We got our claim. And we've certainly got enough money to go to war, so here we go. This will be super lopsided. Ah, shit, I forgot to change my rally point. Shit. That sounds about right. Okay, should be able to change this during war. There we go. Look at that. That is just glorious. Also true, the conversion, if you're playing as the Viking, converting the people you conquer is hard, because usually you're expanding into Christian and Muslim territory. I'll tell you, once all this 2020 COVID horse shit is over, like for good, um, I would like to get back out there and travel some more. I've wanted to go to Eastern Europe for a long time, like Czechia, Poland, and Hungary in particular. Oh, a player can handle it, but the AI usually can't, from what I've seen. Because Paradox AI is cartoonishly dumb. In Kentucky. Really? There is a dog mare in Kentucky? That's awesome. Probably does a better job than most of the people who have run this country in recent years. I can't say I've ever done an Africa game in CK2. Is the religion really that good? I will definitely do that. That sounds awesome. I love the South. Man, do people in Kentucky consider themselves the South, or more is that are they more Midwest? There go the fireworks. Nice. I might have to go back and do one now because that sounds fun. Ooh, nice. I love old architecture. That's so I've been to both Paris and London, and I think I preferred Paris because a lot of the buildings in London just made it feel like any other big city. Like there are parts of London that just look like New York. But what I liked about Paris is after World War II, they rebuilt it to look like Napoleonic Paris. So the buildings look old, even though most of them are way less than a century old, because they're just built after the war. I had a similar review of Berlin. They didn't really. Nice. I think I will try a game like that. But I had a similar review of Berlin, where the architecture just made it feel like any other place. Also, I do know that is possible because of Ethiopia. Alright, we've got more Adamites showing up in our court. That's fun. I gotcha. Is that like, so they get a special, succession law? Okay. Let me get another. Yeah, I've got a Norse knight, so say that 5 times fast. I will put him in control here. Interesting. It's been a while since I played CK2, so I kind of forget what you can actually do there. But that sounds fun. Alright, I'm going to take Oslo as a base of operations in Norway. Sorry, responding to a text. My sister is currently on a cross-country voyage, and she wanted a recommendation of mine. So, fun fact about the Children's Crusade: a lot of people think it was called by the church. It was not. The Children's Crusade was the result. It was sort of like the Peasants' Crusade. I just might do that. Let's see if it'll spread into my land. But the Children's Crusade was a bit like the Peasants' Crusade, where the church never actually sanctioned it. It was just the result of mass religious delusion, more or less. And most of it fell apart before it even arrived in the Holy Land. So most of the people who participated in the Children's Crusade weren't actually children. It started with children in France, and then a bunch of German peasants joined in, and which ones did survive made their way all the way down to the Holy Land to be enslaved. But at that point, the minority of them were children. Holy, I need a new patriarch. You suck. It's going to take him 4 years to fabricate this claim. Oh well, how far am I from hoardings? I can at least upgrade my buildings. Nice, nice. I should get that soon. Oh, for the Aztecs? Reducing their morale? That makes sense. Realm will lose land when vassal dies. So who is your heir? Oh, the dirty Frenchman. Also true. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, like the Peasants' Crusade, if they'd actually prepared a bit better, they might have been strong just by sheer force of numbers, because there were a fucking lot of them. But there were no soldiers, and none of them thought to bring weapons. Also, the Peasants' Crusade was the first crusade to really go off the rails, which it actually happened just before the First Crusade. That sounds like a fun playthrough. So yeah, with the Peasants' Crusade, it started with a French preacher who went around to a bunch of towns and cities throughout Europe. In after the Council of Clermont, when the First Crusade was called, most of the priests knew what to do, and they went and preached to nobles and mercenary companies, and those were the ones you would actually want in a war for the Holy Land. But Peter, I believe he was called Peter the Beggar, decided to go preach to the peasants, and he got tens of thousands of peasants to march all the way through Germany, where they wreaked havoc on the local Jewish population. It was horrible. There were massacres in Worms and other German cities. And then they arrived in Anatolia and almost immediately got enslaved and slaughtered by the Seljuks. What episode? I did an episode where I talked about them in my Crusade series. If you're curious, you can go check that out on SoundCloud or Podbean. Son and Ward. I want him to become compassionate too, so he doesn't fuck with my heir. Nice. Here, let me find that episode for you if you're curious. Because this stream is just one content stream for my podcast, which I've been running since 2018. And I've done series on early medieval Europe and on the Crusades. And right now, I'm actually working on a series on the decline and fall of the Roman Empire. I actually just put out an episode detailing the history of Christianity in Rome. Believe it was this episode. Alright, just putting it in chat. And there you go. Yeah, you can check that one out if you want to learn about the First Crusade, which was really the only successful one, at least to the degree that it wanted to be. Also, that sounds... I will probably have to try an Africa game. That sounds fun. Also, thank you for the follow, Pancake. I stream every Friday and Sunday at 8 o'clock. Though it is a little sketchy lately because I am in the process of moving. Would you frickin' get a claim on Oslo? Alright, as long as the Scotsmen are at war with each other, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, yeah, we definitely want Castle Baileys so we can upgrade our holdings. There we go. Let's upgrade London, make this even more absurdly powerful. Wait. Why is the King of West Francia at war with one of my dukes? Also, that's a game I wanted to do, but I never was all that good at playing Byzantium in CK2. Actually, I should be able to form this duchy. Right now, the only way I'm aware of is to play in the Charlemagne start. Because there's still a living Hellenic province then. Alright, we have almost got our crown authority back up from that peasant revolt. That would be good. Amalfi is a pretty powerful county, if I remember right. Also true. The custom ruler is a lot of fun to play with. Yeah, I'm done wasting money on this horse. Let's restore our county control in Buckingham and continue beefing up our men-at-arms. Alright, we've got a pretty nice little private army going here. True. Alright, so I might have to go back to CK2 and try that. That also puts you in decent proximity to go do it, too. Alright, now I can upgrade my other castles here. Why can I not upgrade that? Is it... Can I only do... No? That's... Alright, there it is. Oh no, I don't want to upgrade Berkshire. Okay, at least it's the Teutonics. That's fine. So I'll go with Colancaster. Also, that reforming the Roman Republic is the true patrician maneuver, not just settling for the empire, but the true glory days of Rome. God, London is such a powerful county. 36 development, all this farmland. I'm just raking in the money. My neighbors are really going at it with these fireworks. Alright, nice. We got our daughter feeling better. How is my heir doing? Wait, has he killed somebody? Alright, well, I'll make a friend with her. That's nice. Alright, well, at least that's not my heir. If my second son gets the shitty traits, and he gets the shitty traits, that's all there is to it. As long as my heir gets the good traits. Let's get him impatient, because I want him to last a while. Because this should be a decent succession by the time I die. I won't be leaving it to someone young and untested, but I also won't be leaving it to someone who is going to die soon. The Duchy of Deira is looking pretty thick. So's Wicca, but they're not as powerful right now. Alright, there we finally have a claim on Oslo. January 1st, 1148. Let's go. And then we can use Oslo as our launching point for further attacks on Norway. So my goal is to take both that and Copenhagen and then use them both to launch invasions of the rest of Norway and Denmark. But now that I've got a foothold, that should be easier. Wait, so Finland only controls like one county in actual Finland. That is fucking weird. This is an extremely cursed Europe. Okay, they're not Russians, they're Khazars. But they control most of wait. The Byzantines are falling apart. Wow. That ain't good. They had such a good run. Yeah, that would be the case. I mean, it makes sense you can't do it historically because the pretty much the entire Byzantine Empire was underpinned by Christianity. It's actually sort of why you see the Byzantines transition to this very authoritarian form of rule that even the old Roman emperors didn't go for. Old Roman emperors at least tried to play up the idea that they were republicans, but they really weren't. But they had to at least pay lip service to the idea. But the Byzantines, Christianity gave them the idea to sort of recreate the kingdom of God on earth. And that was why you see them have this one single extremely powerful ruler that everyone answers to. And the Senate really just becomes a vestigial body of the ancient empire at that point. Also, that sounds like a pretty good strategy. Because then you'll have Italy to operate from, and that's one of the richest kingdoms in CK2, if I remember correctly. Alright, let's send you to Copenhagen. And you to finish restoring my rule. Alright, go kill these Norwegians. That would be interesting, playing as the immortal president. Real president for a never-ending life. Wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah, I have done that as monarchs. I don't think it happens as often for republics. Alright, let's slaughter these Norwegians and conquer Oslo. Alright. Nice, nice. So what's our heir looking like? Alright. He is solid. And his brother's not half bad either. He's a diplomat. Though this king's ears look really fucking goofy. Well, let's give him an intelligent wife. Yeah, I never really played around much with republics in CK2. I have done a game or two starting as them, but I could never get it off the ground. Alright, let's ransom the queen. Shouldn't need much more to win this war. Alright, we have Oslo. Let's take her capital, and then we should be set. Awesome. You know, that is the luckiest I've ever seen anyone get with RNGesus. Isn't that the one? I think that's aren't the Zun the religion that lets you do incest? Or is that Zoroastrianism? I cannot remember my CK2. Yes, I am aware that I'm in debt. Okay, nice. Yeah, I knew it was one of those religions out in the Persian region that lets you just play full Wincest. I don't have the money, so we gotta go maybe let our horse die. Holy crap, 200,000 men by the time the Mongols got there? Nice. Alright, almost got it. Oh yeah, Siberia was always a rough place to fight in historically, and even more so in the medieval era. Thing is, when the Russians sent people out to conquer Siberia, they didn't send them in large numbers. They were largely a bunch of small Cossack groups that they sent to do it for them. Like, Yermak Timofeyevich was probably the most famous Cossack sent to conquer Siberia. He wasn't the only one, but he was the most famous. But it was relatively few men that were actually sent to conquer Siberia. Thing is, most of the tribes living out there were so sparsely... the land was so sparsely populated by the tribes who lived there that it didn't take too many men to actually get the job done. That sounds fun. I might go do that in my personal games. Alright, so now we have our province in Norway. Alright, we got a nice trait too. Nice, I think I'll give that a go. Might go back and do a CK2 stream just for funsies. Let's see, can I bump up my crown authority? Yes, I can. Alright, Copenhagen is next, and that will round out my domain in the north. And between London, Oslo, and Copenhagen, I will be rolling in endless shekels. I will never run out of money. That could be fun. The Imperium of Man. There you go. Oh, here's the comet. See, here's the thing about that nobody really understands about the Warhammer world is that it sucks so bad in the year 40,000 that the literal Catholic space Nazis are the good guys. That's how awful it is. Those guys are the good guys. Or at least the not-so-bad guys. Let's see if we can give him a genius wife. Or at least somebody intelligent. I usually do full eugenics in this game and just try to breed genius into my line. Because that's the most OP trait. They're basically just space communists. But yeah, it's such a sucky universe that the space Nazis and the space communists are as good as it gets. Although being an orc is the way to go, because then you just get to you get to hang out with your war boy bros, and you don't really think too much about life, and you can just enjoy yourself. Is it violent? Sure. Is it short? Hell yeah. But is it fun? Definitely. Let's upgrade Oslo. Exactly. That's being an orc is fun. It's dumb, but it's fun. And I am somebody who loves dumb shit so long as it revels fully in its own dumbness. Like, I love 80s action movies because they revel wholeheartedly in how stupid they are. So, I love things that are dumb that own the fact that they're dumb. Because if you're dumb and you take yourself seriously, everyone else thinks you're just fucking dumb. But if you're dumb and you don't take yourself seriously, you can have fun. Also, that, I mean, they were historically a republic. Visby was a merchant republic in the Baltic Sea. And let's send you to get a claim there. Exactly. The Vikings only raided people that they didn't think were strong. If they thought you would actually put up a fight, they'd usually leave you alone and trade with you. That's why they decided to kind of ally with the Byzantines, is because the Byzantines really put up a fight harder than most people the Vikings had ever encountered before. Alright, and from Copenhagen, we should be able to conquer Denmark pretty easily. Alright, I need money. Badly. Alright, daughter, who shall I marry you to? I wonder if I can get another Adamite. Yes, they did, and they were called the Varangian Guard, and they were fascinating. A lot of Vikings, basically, with no real prospects back home, would go to Byzantium to try to make something of themselves. Harald Hardrada being perhaps the most famous of the lot. Alright. Who are you? No, fuck off. But they were decisive in a lot of battles in Byzantine history. They sort of functioned as a psychological factor in addition to being just genuinely effective warriors. Because consider the fact that the average Viking stood considerably taller than the average Greek or Arab of his day. So it must have been terrifying to go against one of those guys in combat, because he probably stood about a head taller than you, and he didn't look like anything you'd ever seen before. Here's this tall, pale, blonde giant coming at you with a Dane axe. That'd be horrific for anybody. But even worse if you'd never seen anybody who looked like him, ever. Alright, so now we got Copenhagen. So we've got two real powerhouse cities in Scandinavia to work from. Yeah, I'll give him a weak hook. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, that's what I'm doing. They did almost completely destroy Anglo-Saxon civilization. So, turnabout is fair play. That's, once I have the money, I will upgrade this castle too. See, I love the Anglo-Saxons quite a bit because they were such a unique people for their day. So, fun fact about that, King Arthur would have hated the Anglo-Saxons. King Arthur is based on a Romano-Briton who actually existed called Aurelius Ambrosianus, who was a Romanized Celt who fought against the Anglo-Saxons. And over time, his exploits became myth, and then legend, and then we get Arthurian legend, which for most of its history was associated with Wales, not England. It only becomes associated with England after the English conquer Wales and sort of integrate it into their own kingdom. Yeah, let's get a court physician. It's not so much revisionism as sort of the life cycle of mythology. The myths behind Arthurian legend became something that the Welsh people, being the original Celtic inhabitants of Britain, rallied around and used to boost morale in the face of unending Saxon conquest. Well, after the Normans conquered the Saxons kind of came to have a similar attitude to the Welsh because they had lost their homeland. Well, eventually all this comes together in a Thurian legend being associated with England as opposed to... I mean, that I bet it is. But, so Wales, like the name Wales, actually means foreigner in the Germanic tongue of the Anglo-Saxons. So this was the last remnant of the Romano-British population, the original Celtic inhabitants of the southern half of Great Britain. And Wales is what the Germans, or the Germanic Anglo-Saxons, called them, because to the Germanic Anglo-Saxons, they were foreigners. But really, the Anglo-Saxons were the invaders, and this was the homeland of the Welsh. Let's replace that with manor houses. Actually, if you've ever seen the old movie Zulu, it's about the battles of Islandwana and Rorke's Drift. It's a Welsh division that movie centers around that's fighting the Zulus, and they sing Men of Harlech against the Zulus. Like, they have sort of a sing-off before the final battle. And Rorke's Drift did actually happen. It was a really impressive last stand on the part of the British. But in Men of Harlech, the attacking force that they're singing about defending against are Anglo-Saxons. Are the British, or at least the English. But here is a Welsh unit fighting on behalf of the King of Britain against Africans, singing a song against the Africans where the English are the enemy. History is fucking weird, man. It's a good movie, though. I highly recommend it. It features a very young Michael Caine as the leader of the British forces. Also, that is true. It is the best sort of weird, but it is weird. Alright, have I got him? Alright, so I've got a claim on there. I guess I'll finish conquering the islands here in the Danish Channel. Nice. Yeah, I'll take that money from you, and let's do that. Also, yeah, I do enjoy that. I sometimes wonder about the implications of things that happen during my playthroughs. Hoi 4 is good for some alt history runs. The CKIII mod is honestly one of my favorite mods in the history of map watching gaming, because it is, I would say, one of the best takes on what if a German victory in World War I. Not necessarily the most realistic, but one of the best takes because it's a very interesting world they created, with sort of a reversed Iron Curtain, with the communism being in the West as opposed to the East. And my favorite one to play as in that is Russia, because they're just such a wild card in the CKIII world. It would be very interesting if the Vikings had been able to reform their paganism into something else, especially, like, the Vikings especially. Because they were some of the last pagans standing in Europe. I mean, the absolute last pagans standing were the Baltic pagans, mostly because this bit of land is very difficult to fight in, because it's very swampy. And actually, it was easier to fight in the Baltic countries in the winter, because the swamps would freeze over and you could actually march an army across them. So there's a lot of famous battles that occur in the Baltic in the dead of winter when nobody else is fighting. One of the most famous is the battle on Lake Peipus, the battle on the ice. Nice. But yes, the battle on the ice was fought right here at the narrowest point of the lake. And it was wild. It was Russians fighting German crusaders. Also, speaking of, Sweden has conquered Novgorod. But that sounds... It's like the bear runs and the horse runs in CK2 were some of the most fun because how fucking crazy they were. That is a beefy men-at-arms contingent that I've got going too. Almost 30,000 men. I've got to have one of the biggest armies in Europe. Yes, I have seen that one, and that is a ridiculous Reddit post where he creates the planet of the horses. Is what accurate? The battle on the ice? That is attested to in multiple sources, both Russian and German. So I'm inclined to believe that it was accurate, that it was something that actually happened. Oh, CK3. The starts are, but as soon as you press the play button, they aren't. Like, this is just disgusting. This version of Europe is bizarre. But CK3, the starts are pretty accurate, all things considered. Same story with most Paradox games. The starts are pretty well researched. Yeah, honestly, yeah. The starts, but before you press the play button, most games are pretty accurate. I mean, obviously there are discrepancies here and there, mostly made for gameplay purposes. But most of the time in Paradox, they do a very good job of making sure that the right people are in charge of the right countries at the right times. Now, granted, as soon as you press play, it goes completely off the rails, but that's a whole nother thing entirely. They do a good job also of making sure that the rulers who were serious powerhouses in their times are powerful as well. Like, Charlemagne feels right in CK2 in particular. He feels about as powerful and effective as he was in history. And Charlemagne was somebody who played the Game of Thrones more effectively than just about anyone else during his day. I mean, you don't unite all of Western Europe being a slacker. The man knew what he was doing. He was an able politician, a skilled military commander. He really had it all. Yeah, it is a weird starting age, but Charlemagne is one of those... Honestly, had he had a more effective political setup, he might have been another Alexander the Great. But because he had to deal with feudalism, he was somewhat limited in what he was capable of doing. But he was one of the only Christians of his day that actually commanded respect from Muslim rulers. The Caliph of Baghdad, I'm blanking on, Abdul al-Rahman, who is one of the most famous Muslim leaders in history, actually sent him elephants as a gift because he wanted to maintain good relationships, or maintain a good relationship with Charlemagne. Whereas most of the time, also true, they really have to stick to one form of feudalism to actually make it work from a gameplay standpoint. But there were various alternate takes on feudalism that aren't represented all that well. The Anglo-Saxons being a prime example. Anglo-Saxon feudalism worked entirely differently from continental feudalism, in that most Anglo-Saxons were relatively free and owned their own land. The sort of the continental style of feudalism only really gets... Yeah, in France it is. But the continental style of feudalism you found in France only really shows up in England after the Norman invasion. But the Anglo-Saxons had a unique form of elective monarchy back in the day. Yeah, they don't really do the rest of Europe that much justice. They don't really do the Mongols that much justice. When I said it was accurate, I meant like in terms of the rulers who are in charge of different territories and the location and size of different territories. But the actual structure of the feudalism in most places, aside from France and the HRE, not great. Especially whatever the hell they did with that last update in the Byzantine Empire really sucked. Because the Byzantines were certainly not an elective monarchy. Not in the slightest. Yet, I never really played in East Asia, so I couldn't tell you, but the Tibetans certainly did not have. They were not nomads. And I say that with a certain amount of authority because my focus in college was actually Chinese and Eastern Asian history more broadly. Though the Chinese history I studied was usually a bit more recent than that. I wrote my papers on the Korean War and Communist China in particular. There we go. All right, we've got a pretty decent foothold here. But if you have actual like individual mods that'll do that, I would love those because the way they have Byzantium didn't really become all that feudal until the very late medieval era. Up until like basically prior to the Fourth Crusade, their government was more akin to ancient Rome than it was feudal Europe. I don't actually think I can appoint mods yet. I think I need at least 50 followers to do that. Nice. I will definitely check that out. I might do a Byzantine run in the future. I am a serious Byzantaboo. I love the Byzantine Empire. It is one of my favorite historical political bodies to study. And it honestly translates into me also being a bit of a Russophile. Because I honestly view the Russians as the legitimate successors of the Byzantine Empire. Yeah, and the other thing is Byzantium is a historical anachronism. It was created by historians after the Turkish conquest of Constantinople to sort of disassociate the Turks from that Roman legacy that pretty much all of Europe wanted. Everyone in Europe wanted to be Rome. And that goes back to the barbarian warlords who came into the dying Roman Empire. They wanted to imitate Rome, and it's hence the Holy Roman Empire. That was largely the Pope's idea, though. Thank you. I will check those mods out. How would you bring back to historical side someone with this background? So the history of technology is the matter of a lot of debate academically. Um, I actually took a class in college about the modern history of technology and how the technological advances of the 20th century changed the course of history, more or less. Um, I will do a stream about that. That sounds fun. Yeah, and the other thing is the Russians married some of the last Byzantine rulers. But going back to you, um, technology and history, at least from that standpoint are really not something that can be separated, because there are several technologies that have changed the course of human history. I don't really know about that. Agriculture is one of those things that was developed what historians call ex nihilo, or out of nothing, in various different places. So the first place to discover agriculture would have been the ancient Middle East, i.e., modern-day Iraq. But other river valleys, like the Nile and the what's that river? I am blanking on the name of this river. It's bothering me. The Indus, I believe, is this one, because the Ganges is here. This is the Indus. So the Indus Valley is one of the other places that agriculture arose sort of without influence from the Middle East or Egypt. And the technology spread from there, and eventually the whole world learned how to do agriculture. China is another place where it occurred ex nihilo in the Yellow and the Yangtze rivers. Chinese civilization really begins there, in that dual river valley. Although it was very primitive back then, and only really developed into what you could call... Yes, I can. One moment. Ave Maria. I am reading it now. Just a moment. Okay, I can't bring that over in front, but I'm sold. I'm gonna sub to that one. Ave Maria looks really solid. I like that it also updates Islam, because the story of Byzantium and Islam are really inextricably tied together. You post 632, you really don't get one without the other. Oh, I like that in Ramayo, I like that it has the theme system, because that was really different from anything else the rest of feudal Europe had. I like that they have sort of a semi-professional army, and the Senate looks like it could be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna sub to both of those. That looks great. So they actually didn't call themselves Eastern Rome. They just called themselves Rome. So I honestly can't... I'd have to exit out of CK3, but I will do a stream with both of those at some point, probably next week, honestly. Or I'll do one and then the other. I'll do the one I like more. I'll do a bit more digging on both. Japan isolated from the rest of the world. So, historically, the Chinese never had a particularly good navy. The only Chinese dynasty that was ever good at sea was the Ming. And they wound up burning most of their fleet to the ground. They started out being very interested in exploration, and they wound up becoming very xenophobic and scared of the rest of the world, and then burned their whole fleet to the ground. But historically, China was more preoccupied with continental threats to worry too much about conquering Japan. Because Japan was a bit out of reach for the Chinese in terms of their navy. And by the time the Chinese develop a navy, like a really powerful navy during the Ming Dynasty, the Japanese have the shogunate, which would have made conquering them even more difficult. The other thing about China historically is that the Chinese army has never been all that great at fighting. So the reason they expanded so easily initially is most of this territory is relatively empty, especially back in the day. So the empire looked very big on paper, but a lot of the land they controlled was empty. Um, Now, the other reason is the Mongols had access to horsemen with bows and arrows, which prior to the invention of gunpowder was like it was like a fighter jet. There was really no counter to it. Because if you have horsemen who can shoot accurately with a bow, they're going to nuke anything you put them up against. Yeah, so when they got to Persia and Russia and China, they were fighting sedentary cultures that largely relied on infantry for combat, and here they were just refusing to fight them head on, running literal circles around them, pelting them with arrows and tiring them out. There was no counter to a horseman with a bow and arrow until gunpowder. And until gunpowder, that's the most effective way to fight. It's just difficult for a sedentary culture to have enough horses to do that. So that's why you see it largely being nomadic cultures that use horsemen with bow and arrow. And that's why you see in sedentary cultures the horsemen being a small elite group supporting infantry. And the horsemen with bow and arrow only really became obsolete once you could deploy infantry units en masse with guns. So really, this happens later in Eastern Europe, but as soon as the Russians and Polish and Hungarians start fielding massed infantry with guns, that's when horsemen become obsolete, because a horse is a very large target for a rifleman, and even in the old days when muskets, like smoothbore muskets, were the only thing you had access to, they were accurate enough to nail a horse. And if you kill the horse, especially if they're doing a full charge, if you kill the horse, you usually kill the rider, because that fall is devastating, and you either take him out of the fight or you kill him. As for nomads, why they were so effective, if you look at a sedentary farming culture, like what you had in most of Eurasia in the medieval era, most people are not soldiers. Most people are farmers or tradesmen. They were not soldiers primarily, although most could fight. Yes, they could. The difference is it is far cheaper to field a large number of bowmen on horseback, because both bows and unarmored horses were relatively cheap for nomadic cultures that relied on them for the herding that they sustained themselves with anyway. But also, full plate armor for a human was expensive enough. To also armor the horse was prohibitively expensive for most. But the nomads, on the other hand, they weren't really farming cultures, they were herding cultures. And they got most of their food from livestock as opposed to, like, grown crops. So they needed horses anyway to actually sustain that lifestyle. So what they do is they use those horses day to day for herding and livestock raising, but they also know how to ride. And then once somebody knows how to ride, you can teach them to shoot a bow. And that's also what they did, because hunting was another major part of their culture and where they got their food from. So you combine the two, and you get a group of people who almost all know how to ride horses, who have ample horses, and who can shoot bows. That is a really difficult force for a largely infantry-based army supported by heavy cavalry to fight. So that is why you don't see it happen more often. Usually what it takes is a very charismatic ruler who can unite all the horse nomads in a given area. That's what happened with Attila the Hun. So back when Attila the Hun was getting up with his fuckery, most of this territory that is the modern-day Ukraine and eastern Romania was populated by horse nomads, but they were disparate tribes. What you see in Attila is a rather powerful warlord who is able to pull them all together for a common cause. And with his army behind him, he conquered Western Europe, really. Well, he didn't conquer. He made a lot of trouble for Western Europe and conquered a large swathe of territory, basically pushing up against the borders of Rome. Genghis Khan was another prime example of a very charismatic individual who was able to unite a large number of smaller tribes together. Right, so we think of the Mongolian Empire as this large unified force, but that's only because that's what it became. But when Genghis Khan was young, the Mongol tribes were spread out across Mongolia. His tribe was just one of many, but he was such an effective and charismatic ruler that he was able to unite the Mongol tribes, both by diplomacy and by force, into a cohesive unit that he then turned into basically a professional army with rank and file and promotion and very organized, regimented units that almost entirely fought on horseback. Yeah, I guess I could do that. So in the chat, let me know if you want to see me continue this Britannia run tonight, or check out the Ave Maria mod in Yeah, so every day is the birthday of one of Genghis Khan's descendants, and if you are of Central or East Asian descent, there is a very high chance you are a direct descendant of Genghis Khan. Alright, I will download that mod and fire it up. Just a minute. Charlemagne is sort of that for Western Europe. If you are of continental European descent, we actually have no idea what the exact number was, but it was a lot. See, I think this run is pretty much done. It's just be the slow process of conquering Norway at this point. But Genghis Khan, when he would conquer a new territory, he would usually demand women as opposed to anything else. And yeah, back in the day, the cavalryman was the F-22 fighter jet of his day. Alright, I think I'll start with Romayoi. Because I really liked the theme system idea. I mean, basically, yeah, Genghis Khan loved his women a lot. Okay, I can do Ave Maria first. But, so yeah, if the Western equivalent of Genghis Khan would actually have been Charlemagne, because the dude got around. And if you are, say, French or German or Dutch, there is a very high chance that you are a relation of Charlemagne somewhere along the line. Trust me, he would have liked to. So, when Genghis Khan was off doing his thing, I mean, that's basically what he did. He just had his way with so many women during his conquest that if you are of Chinese or or Mongolian or any kind of other Central Asian nation, if you're of that descent, There is a very good chance you are a direct descendant of Genghis Khan somewhere along the line, and every single day of the year is the birthday of one of his descendants. And the main reason you see these sort of Central Asian horse nomads show up and just fucking melt people's faces off. All right, hold on. Need to. My computer can be kind of finicky if I try to do this too fast, but So yes, there is every human alive today can trace their ancestry back to biological Adam and Eve. And I mean, it's religion aside, right? Well, everybody's inbreeding to a degree. So, um, I don't know that much about Subutai, but I can give you a little bit. But let me finish with this Adam and Eve topic, right? So, I dabbled in anthropology in college, and if you go way, 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 way back into human history, when we were first emerging as a species in Africa, we almost went extinct, basically. At one point, there were fewer than 1,000 humans alive on the planet at one point. So all women can trace their mitochondrial DNA back to biological Eve, who is a woman who lived in Ethiopia roughly 60,000 years ago. And all men can trace their Y chromosomal DNA back to biological Adam, who lived in the same area roughly 40,000 years ago. And if you really extrapolate it out, every human on Earth today is 50th cousins with everyone else. But yeah, there was a brief time when humans almost went extinct. One of the most fun classes I took in college was human evolution in anthropology. And it covered the entire evolutionary history of mankind, going back to the earliest apes. Alright, let's do we want to do 1066 or... Oh, there's an Alexiad start. Ooh, I like that. Time of the Sword. I like these new starts. Let's go with the Alexiad. I mean, they emerged as a population, but, So yeah, the anatomically modern humans, like that is humans that resemble a modern person, only show up 40,000 years ago. Everything before that was pre-human apes. And there were other sort of hominid species around with us at the same time. Alright, so Alexios Komnenos is one of my favorite characters in history. Yeah, so anatomically modern humans don't show up until 40,000 years ago. Let me just see what Komnenos is working with here. Yeah, so Neanderthals are probably the most prominent ones that most people would be aware of these days. But there were others. Thinking of the Denisovians were one that existed in Asia. There was a group of hominids. Howdy, welcome to the stream. There was a group of hominids who lived in Jav. Oh, wow. No, I know there were several others. I'm just naming them. We should be able to hire some mercenaries. We are Byzantium, after all. But yeah, there were a lot of hominid species that existed. There's just a few that we have. Oh, what's this? Basilius. It kind of reforms the whole of the Byzantine Empire. is my understanding. Alright, we can nominate a successor. Well, let's not worry about that until we have a son of our own. Low control in counties. We need a chaplain. And we need to get married. I have seen that mod. I have never played it. Alright, so what does he want? For Epirus. Alright, well, we gotta kill us some Normans. Wait, oh, I am married. I need to pump out a kid. I've never played it, but I could play it in this stream. That might be fun. I'm always down for some post-apocalyptic fiction. Alright, let's merge that. Neighbor can be... Who are you? Sure, let's vassalize Serbia. Alright, so let's see what new commands we have. Oh, it just crashed. Thank you for the approval. I have been to Italy. I loved my time there. I only really was in Rome. I would have liked to have seen more of the country. But, let me see if I can tool around with my mods a little bit. I wonder what's conflicting with it. Let's turn most things off. I doubt heron beards, but you know what? Why not? Turn that off. Turn that off. All right. Let's try this. Yeah, I have it on. There are a couple other mods that I like playing on just for quality of life that fix problems that the developers made, honestly. But yeah, let's go back and try the Alexiad again. So actually, Alexios Komnenos, his daughter, whose name escapes me at the moment, was a very capable historian in her own right. And she wrote one of the best sources for the First Crusade. You can actually... Let me see if we can find that for you while this is loading. Here we go. So, I'm posting one of my favorite historical sources right now. Oh, I know. I have a Mac because I'm just used to working on one for years. But I like that this game runs pretty damn good on Mac. So yeah, let's go with the Alexiad. But the thing I just posted in the chat is one of my favorite sources for medieval history. And it holds in it pretty much every primary source you can get on the First Crusade. Here we go, the Alexiad. So this is the book written by Anna Komnena, who was Alexios Komnenos' daughter, and a very capable historian. Yeah, it's moving. We're going. Alright, there we go. Okay, so we have the cataphracts, more cataphracts. Let's hire some additional cataphracts, because those guys are awesome and very effective. Cataphracts. Let's just go with that. Alright. So Bowman of Toronto is one of those interesting figures that I was talking about. Let's go with military focus. I should be able to, actually. I'll worry about that in a moment. Let's go with blood first. Here we go. Low obligations. Because I have much higher troop quality than the Apulians, I guarantee you. Oh, that is a tough one. So the problem is most Hollywood takes a lot of liberties with the medieval era in general. There really aren't any that don't bother me for because of something. Um, it is what it is. If I lose Epirus, I can take it back. So, Bowman should be hanging around here somewhere. Yeah, there he is. He's going to be really important when the First Crusade starts. I just vassalized one of them. Rashka. I should be able to vassalize him if I can make him like me. Oh, is it not? Okay, I need to get in a council together. Okay, it looks like he's splitting up his forces. Yes, I know I'm in debt. Alright, what else is going on here? Organize an imperial expedition. Alright, I'll play around with that in a little bit. Okay, this is not going well for me. This is a lot of new stuff for me, so I'm going to need to tool around with this for a little bit. Yeah, I am, at the behest of one of the guys in the chat, I am running a Byzantium playthrough. I'm just going to need to be... I'm going to need to figure out the mechanics to this mod before I can get really good with it. Thank you. See, the problem with putting COVID in the medieval era is that's the same time period that the Black Death happened. And let me put it to you this way, COVID's bad. But the Black Death would eat COVID for breakfast and shit it out an hour later. The Black Death was like world-ending tier. Like, it actually also emerged in China, believe it or not. Patient Zero lived somewhere in Manchuria. At least as far as we are aware. Yeah, so compared to historical plagues, no, it is not that bad at all. Um, yeah, today, because it's a bacteria, we can deal with it. Alright, well, we lost Epirus. That sucks. Alright, let me go... I, I'm determined to figure this mod out. Let me take another crack at this. Yeah, the Black Death isn't gone. It shows up every once in a while. I'm not trying to save scum, I need to learn these new mechanics. Because there's a bunch of them here. Alright. You could theoretically... Yeah, this is a new mod that I'm playing. So we could theoretically engineer something like that. There are two strains of it that are still in storage around the world. The Russians have one. The US has the other. If one of those were to get out, God only knows what would happen. Alright. So, let's see here. I'm definitely taking Basilius and military focus. Smallpox is somewhat related to the Black Death. Both of them were pandemic... Both of them were devastating when they actually showed up. But you can actually vaccinate against smallpox. Actually, a lot of people were. Up to about Gen X, it was pretty commonplace to be vaccinated against... I mean, it's a bacteria, so I don't actually think you could vaccinate against it. I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination, though, so I could very well be wrong there. But vaccinations are what made smallpox, in particular, a thing of the past. Okay, thank you. Yeah, my historical knowledge is... Oh, my knowledge is largely historical. I'm not, by any stretch of the imagination, a medical expert. But vaccinations are what made smallpox go away. Or at least made it much less common. Thing is, we stopped doing smallpox vaccinations a couple decades ago. Oh, nice. Definitely need more of those. Um, and from everything I've heard, it's a fairly lucrative career. Oh, apparently I'm gay. In the game. Did not notice that one. Alright, let me nominate my brother. Yeah, let's go with my oldest brother. I gotcha. I've gotten a number of tetanus shots in my life. I have bad luck stepping on metal. Yeah, but you got to consider that the same thing might happen to them. That is one of the main problems with any kind of like extraterrestrial exploration is xenoviruses. Also true, but by that same token, we might not be affected by theirs. Also true, who knows, they might have like full-blown environment suits that prevent them from getting sick in our atmosphere. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take the L on this war. Alright, vassal interactions. Change administration. Oh, I see. Fire official. Replace official. Favor candidate. Interesting. Oh, I see. And they each seem to control all of their land. That is fascinating. More historically accurate, definitely. Also, Nanomachine Sun is one of my favorite memes. That is... I am going to have a lot of fun tooling around with this one. Also true, they really wouldn't... They wouldn't have any notion of Earthborn viruses. Or diseases in general, but especially viruses. I gotcha. So he's a duke. Strategos. Also true. Who the hell knows what alien technology looks like? But I'll tell you what. I think I am going to call it for the night. This stream usually goes till about 10:30 for my new viewers. Oh, government's map mode. Let me try that. Oh, I see. It's the themes. I like that. I am definitely going to play around with this, but I should be much better at this meme or at this game, at this mod come next week. So I will be back next Friday with the next installment, and actually the EU4 multiplayer stream. I will be trying to get that started up again. For a while I was doing one, but my EU4 got hosed up, so it's fixed now, and I will try to be doing that soon. But I will see you all on Friday, and I'll hopefully be better at this mod by then. Have a great night, everybody. Renegade Historian signing off.